What?
How much do you weigh?
You never ask a football YouTuber those kind of questions.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why? Well, first, I will answer, but why do you want to know?
What are you, like a $150, $153?
No,
I was
not-
just
not
wondering
53.
because like the weight correlation has a lot to do with how many pull-ups you can do. So I was just seeing.
Oh,
I've been doing a lot of pull-ups lately.
I cannot do pull-ups. I mean,
This is Gristle, Scooter. 150.
seriously imagine this tub of lard doing a pull-up. No.
Also,
And
what are you now?
gentlemen,
Because now I'm just curious. You like 150, Perna?
No, I'm probably like 148.
I'd give you about 150.
Yeah, I
That's
fluctuate. I'd probably say 8 pounds. I
He's
could
like,
be.
no, I am not a $153.
Yeah.
I'm like a $148. Like it's the furthest thing from the truth.
Listen,
Cam-
at that weight,
camera adds
5
about 5
pounds
pounds.
is a big deal.
That's
ladies and
water weight.
gentlemen, John Harbaugh is in for the New York Giants.
Somebody's
The
losing
Packers
today.
Are
Oh my
out of the
God,
playoffs.
He's losing
The
today.
Steelers are out
Somebody's
of
been
the
waiting for
playoffs.
this man.
One person remains as we get an immediate $500 donation. My goodness.
Not me.
Let's start with the biggest
Is that for me?
letdown.
I think
the-
so. It says Green Bay Packers fans.
Aw,
it's,
damn it.
It's an indictment
Oh,
right
no,
there.
this is 500. Despite having a reputation as one of the best and most loyal fan bases, Packers fans are arrogant snobs, not a generalization at all.
Can't do wrong.
While some of the arrogance is justified, true, as Green Bay has been one of the best teams over the last 3 decades, they have a persecution complex that makes them annoying, not to mention they have a penchant for sending death threats to players. I don't think we have the reputation for sending death threats. The last time I think that a good amount of Packers sent death threats was MVS. That Colts game, that fumble game, I'm pretty sure people sent some death threats then. But I mean, you find this in every single fan base, but I also will
Yes.
tell you, the minute that something goes wrong in Green Bay, Packers fans are ready to fire everybody and lose their minds. You can just check in with one of the.
Why don't we start right there? Thank
There
you
you go.
for that 500
Here's one.
donation.
There's
But
a
let's
foot.
start there with the biggest.
Oh, I missed the foot.
There's another foot.
Ah,
Oh,
There you are. Oh,
I
I'm
didn't
sorry.
get to zoom on the
excited.
foot.
suddenly thirsty.
Let's just go
Aw,
straight
I'm
to
sorry,
Tom.
that's
The
fair.
Packers were up 21-3. This is one of the biggest comebacks in playoff history. What went wrong? Where do you go from here? Did you lose the Micah Parsons trade? We need answers to all of these questions.
I love that you just throw that one in there at the end.
Yeah, he's got to throw a dig in.
What time are the
Oh, yeah,
Cowboys
always
playing?
does.
So I have to, So here's the thing. So it was 21-3 at halftime, and I was very happy, right? Because the Packers offense was doing really well. However, with that optimism, there was a lot of caution. There was Bear fans that were in my chat. They were like, oh, GG's. Of course, we didn't show up the one time, and just be like, oh, you guys won, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, guys, this is not. I was like, I have seen this movie so many times. I saw this movie 3 weeks ago when the Packers were beating the Bears in Chicago, and then they freaking lost. So this ain't over. And unfortunately, to start the third quarter, they go 3 and out. They barely allow any points. They don't even allow a single touchdown in the up until the fourth quarter. But what changed, and LaFleur was asked about this in his post-game press conference. He was asked because obviously the offense is rolling, in that first half. The only thing that they screwed up was the missed field goal at the end. But it was a 55er. It's not like he's going to miss more, right? So then in the third quarter, the Bears increased their pressure, right? The Packers could not run the ball. And I mean, it wasn't just like, oh man, they're really struggling. I think they had one run that was above 1 single yard in the second half. They weren't burning any clock. They couldn't move the ball. It was constant 3 and outs. And so they just kept on giving the ball right back to the Bears. And the Bears were having these long sustained drives. The Packers were able to get another turnover. That was super nice. But then they continued to do this. Eventually, Matthew Golden scored his first touchdown, which was nice. But yeah, dude, they just kept giving it back to the Bears and just being like, hey, score points. And guess what? They did.
here's my question, and I don't know if you guys have any other questions. Feel free to chime in. Who do you put the blame on for this loss?
Who do I put the blame on? I mean, there's a few. A part of it has to be McManus. I mean, McManus leaves 7 points on the board. I mean, so you have the 55-yarder before the half. That one, I'm fine. It was super windy, what have you. But then for you to go down the field, and it's like that second to last series where they got super aggressive and like they didn't take any time off the clock, like whatsoever. And then you miss a 44-yarder. And before that, you miss an extra point. Even if you hit the extra point, that's a different ball game because Jordan Love moves that team down the field at the very end. They could have just kicked the field goal and we go into overtime. You know what I mean? So like that has to be first and foremost. The second half, the offensive line did not block like at all, like not even a little bit. So that has to be some of the responsibility. I can't even really blame the defense a whole lot. You know, there's individuals who did not have a great game. Don't get me wrong, but I think they did enough to win that game. And you have to look at the offense and the play calling too. Again, they didn't burn any clock. So that comes down to LaFleur. You didn't burn any clock in the second half. And obviously what you were trying to do wasn't working. And yeah, man, it was rough.
I just want to say it goes to show you how small the margin of error is in the postseason. Sure. And the Packers could have put this game away in the first half. Look, you can't win a game in the first half, but you can certainly lose it. And I tweeted at halftime, I was like, this game is far from over. And one stat that I went and looked up during halftime, you know, they were like, after they missed that field goal, they're like, oh, but the Packers get the ball at the beginning of the second half. That is a meaningless stat. It's only a 5% advantage for the team that's winning to receive the ball at half. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, the Packers, this is, if they don't write some things here. And I said also last week, I said the Bears have to win this game and they better, and they got it done. So credit to the Bears. They did enough. But man, all those turnovers on downs when the Bears kept going to the roulette wheel and not not coming up big, that I was like, man, you gotta, wow.
And that's the thing with the Bears, like they're a team that has done this constantly this season. They just keep on coming back in the fourth quarter. They just don't go away. What was that thing that I literally was just reading that they were making? Ben Johnson was making them like practice out in the cold, like without heaters, and all the players were miserable. And then after Saturday, they were like, you know what? Maybe that did something. Like maybe that actually worked out. So I don't know, man. I mean, it's just Bears fans should absolutely do your victory laps, man. They've been doing it for a week, but rightfully so. This is their first playoff win in a cajillion years. They knocked off a division rival in the Packers. You know,
what do you think about Ben Johnson saying "F the Packers" in the locker room?
Dude, like, okay, because they won. They can say, they can bring out the cheese graters. They can go and say F the Packers. Ben Johnson can go, you know, do the little handshake and run away. He could do all of those things, right? Because they won. If the Packers don't want those things to happen, win the football game.
So there's the follow up on all of this. You guys traded for Micah Parsons. You guys pushed all your chips in the middle. I'm asking,
sure,
does this close the window a little bit? Are you guys going to be able to retain all the talent, or has the window closed?
No, so it's really these next two seasons, but next year is kind of that make or break year. They extended Christian Watson for another year, so he's still going to be under contract. The only other guy on offense that we might lose that I'd be like really concerned about is Romeo Doubs, you know, just because his contract is up. And while he played really damn well on Saturday, I don't know if they're going to retain him, especially if they start utilizing Matthew Golden more. The question, like, we need to figure out a few things. One, how to stop choking football games, because it happened multiple times throughout this season alone. Two, that we need corners and bad. I mean, if we're bringing in Trayvon Diggs, which, you know, Scoots, that was a rough season. When he were like, hey, maybe he could, it's a tough time. So they needed corners before this draft. They needed them going into this season. They only drafted Micah Robinson, who is now on the Titans. And so they have to. I think just by virtue of getting healthier, the Packers will be better. Parsons being back is going to make that team better. It's going to make that pass rush better. LVN had his best season, which we finally need to see something from him. We'll see if Rashawn Gary is going to even remain on the team. He had a really bad season after a good start. And we're going to need to go get some offensive line depth. But I mean, the one thing that I am also pulling away from this game is Jordan Love the guy? They threw 3 touchdowns in the first half. Obviously, that offense completely stalled out in that second half, but I'm not really putting too much blame on Jordan Love. So, I mean, he had a really good season. And I'm really confident with Love. It's just a matter of, is there enough support on this squad to go to the Super Bowl? I think that there is, but then you start questioning your coaching personnel too, and we'll see kind of what that's going to look like after a couple of weeks.
I love this. There's a guy named Dante Corleone.
Coaching personnel.
I don't know if Aaron Rodgers might not be on the Steelers this year. So.
The perfect segue. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, the former Packers, we go to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who were playing the Texans, and they were playing them close up until the fourth quarter. Tree, take us through what was going through your mind in this game. Did you think you had a chance to win this? And where do the Steelers go from here?
I think the main thing in that game was simply the Steelers were benefiting from CJ Stroud having a terrible football game. Oof. Mainly, he had 5 fumbles. 3 of them were recovered by him. He was botching a lot of snaps. He panicked. He had a really bad red zone interception. And the problem was usually when you win the turnover battle and only get 3 points off of them, it's pretty dire. But the problem is that the Steelers offense just couldn't do anything. And they've been having this issue against elite defenses the whole year. It happened against the Bills, happened against the Chargers, happened against the Patriots before, happened against the Packers in the second half. It happened against the Browns. But the problem is it's a repeating trend, and the problem is it's just they weren't able to do it. And by the time the fourth quarter happened and Will Anderson was able to get to the quarterback strip fumble, you see Shelton Rankins run all the way to the end zone. It's just like, crap. Well, shit. And then it just turns into
crap.
A bad 3 and out. And then
I like how he self-corrects.
And then it just turns into this really punishing drive where the defense just gets exposed. Christian Kirk turned into Julian Edelman out there. It was the Woody Marks touchdown that was the dagger, and it turned into a complete blowout. It just took 3 quarters. And I think the issue is it's just like it's the same thing. I think that's the issue. I mean, I kind of was hoping that they would win. But at the same time, it's 7 straight playoff losses. You haven't won a playoff game in a decade. The organization fancies itself a Super Bowl contender, but the problem is it was a long time to make a change. And the sad thing is,
speaking of change,
Aaron Rodgers,
your franchise might be the one with the most change this offseason. QB change potentially. Already the head coach is out. Did you expect this head coach, Mike Tomlin, getting fired? Who do you think are some capable replacements?
No, let me correct Run here. He wasn't fired. He stepped down.
Yes, sorry.
RD2 was never going to fire him.
Down. Have some respect, Scooter.
Yeah, exactly. God. Respect the tradition of Steeler football. No coach is fired since before a man walked in the room. But as I said, it's just I was legitimately kind of surprised by it. I thought he would stay at least another year because he was tied with Chuck Noll for the team's coaching or win record for coaching. So I figured he'd be able to stay that. I was cynically thinking, okay, they'll roll it back. They'll bring back 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers because he is the best option, sadly, because there's nobody else out there. And then you would probably, you'd have Hayward back. You'd have TJ Watt hopefully healthy. You try and roll the dice and see where it lands. But I think Tomlin understood this team was going nowhere. They were stuck. I think
the problem is you're losing talent and you don't have high draft picks.
And it's aging. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like your team's aging. Hayward's 37, Boswell's 35. Time. Watt had a down year. He's 32 coming into a major extension. Rodgers is 42. I mean, he had flashes of that old glory.
Who do you want to be the next head coach, and who do you want to be starting at quarterback next year?
I know for certain it's not going to be Aaron Rodgers. He was there for Tomlin, and they pretty much said like he's gone. And honestly, I don't know if he was kind of like a Russell Wilson type, low end starter. He showed flashes of his old glory, but he was very up and down, and against really big teams, he just couldn't get it done. Partially because there wasn't much separation between receivers and corners, but there was also just.
Who do you want to be QB1 of the Steelers next year, week 1?
I don't know,
scared?
man. I mean, well,
Steelers
here's the
fans
thing.
wanted this change.
I
They've
mean,
been
we've
begging for a
needed it.
change.
We've needed it for a long time.
Now
dude.
it's here. You
And
don't
we
have
are
to
going to
go for
be.
QB.
We're going to be really bad. I think it's not like a situation where I'm just sitting there like, oh, we're going to, go to the Super Bowl now without Tomlin. Are people celebrating this? I'm like, no. Honestly, I'm not happy or sad or angry that he's gone. It's just like, it's a relief. It's kind of like, you're a caretaker taking care of someone who's been sick for a very long time. You try to keep them alive, but the problem is it's just like, it's not working. And it's just like, you're still stuck in that same cycle. You can't break out of it.
So
that's what I said to my dad when he was sick. I was like, Dad, it's not working. Okay. You're just going to
pretty much. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, as I said,
QB1 may not be on the Steelers team right now.
I mean, it may be Mason Rudolph as a stopgap.
Will Howard, right? I mean, like, they're probably going to give him a shot.
Here's your sandwich. It's called the Danger Witch, and it's danger.
He's available.
Yeah.
He's available, but here's what I'm
street.
thinking. Packers or Cowboys? We got to complete the clickbait cycle here, my friends.
No.
Yes.
Russ would be a great backup for Dak.
Brian Flores
Great
did
backup.
interview for the Steelers head coach position. We'll see how that plays
There are
out.
a
What
couple
we
others
do
too,
already know, though,
Yeah, Shula, Anthony Weaver, Shieldhouse from the Rams. I think Grant Udinski's one that they may be looking at. He's a local Pennsylvania boy. The cynical part of me is hoping they don't bring in like a Mike McCarthy or an Arthur Smith. It would just be a retread and a lateral.
You need a guy for 20 years.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
how
You need a
Steelers
guy
do
for
things.
20 years.
So
we
Mike
will see
McDaniel.
how
20
that
years.
plays out.
Would Flores excite you? Would Brian
Flores
excite
and
you?
Sala, like I like them as coaches. The question
Yeah.
is, I don't know if the Steelers want to go that route. I think they've always gone with a young, unproven defensive coordinator. That's been their hire for the last
Sala and Rodgers
The
together.
whole 2 times they've had to do it.
Three.
Yeah, so real quick, Darnold, left practice with a side injury. He said when he was throwing, he felt like something in his side, but they said that he should be playing, that the chances of him not playing are next to 0. So that is good, but something to keep an eye on today.
Also, something to keep
punch
an
him in
eye
the
on.
side if you're the defender. Just
John
figure out what
Harbaugh.
side it is. Oh,
Dude, he's interviewing with the Lions, Arthur Smith.
Yeah. Have fun with that. Please take him. It just actually came out from
take him instead of Mike
from
McDaniel,
local beat
please.
reporters that all assistant coaches are free to pursue other jobs in interviews. So
all
I think Arthur
assistant
Smith is
coaches.
gone, which is like, well, see ya. Bye. I mean, don't get me wrong.
So
Better
is
than
John
Matt
Smith.
Canada, but that ain't saying much.
This is my 7th time trying to transition to John Harbaugh being the head coach of the New York Giants. He is officially the head coach for 5 years, $100 million. He's getting paid like a top tier player. What are your immediate thoughts on this hire? Will this move the needle for the Giants, or will they be picking in the top 5 next season? 5.
A lot of Giants fans are acting like we just hit some type of lottery or something. He's just the coach, okay? And if you watched the Giants play last year, their main problem was blowing leads late.
Yeah.
And
and
what is
blows
John
leads.
Harbaugh's main problem? Keeping leads late. So that is a little cause for concern. Listen, I don't get excited for off-season wins. I get excited
do.
for
They're sick.
regular season wins. And John Harbaugh is going to have to put up or shut up. He's going to have a little bit of a leash. I mean, if all he has to do is improve 4 wins to get to 5, to get to 6 or 7 wins. But it does show you that he wanted the opportunity. He sees potential. Out of all the teams he could have gone to, number one, the Giants probably offered him the most monetarily.
Oh, yeah.
But Number
They locked him in the
two,
room.
I mean, he picked the Giants, so he's going to bring competent coordinators. He's had a quarterback like Jaxson Dart and Lamar Jackson. Now, I'm not saying that Jaxson Dart is anywhere near Lamar Jackson. I'm just saying
Yeah,
they
no,
live.
they're
he's
They're
making
in the
17. I
same.
thought
They're in the
JPH.
same genre of quarterback. Just kind of mobile and doing dumb things with the ball sometimes. It speaks to potential, but I'm not super excited about this. I need to see results because that's all that we go for, So we'll see what happens. We'll see what they do in the draft, whether they take an OT or a guard or a wide receiver. But I think Shane unless they make the playoffs next year, Shane is probably out and Harbaugh is going to want his guy in there at some
I
point.
thought he was making like 17 mil in Baltimore.
Yeah,
I
17.
don't think he was making 20 because 20
he got a
puts
raise.
him in the upper echelon now of highest paid coaches.
20
I
is
mean,
a lot.
He's not worth 20 million.
I think
As a
there's-
fellow NFC East fan, I will say this hire does not scare me one bit.
But what if he beats the Cowboys?
John
look.
Harbaugh is one step and barely a step above Mike McCarthy.
That
If
part
we're
is, I agree
being
with you.
honest right here. This man had generational talent in Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and squandered that. He couldn't even beat the Steelers this year to get into the playoffs.
Tyler Loop would have made that kick. I think the
I
thing
am
too
not
is he
afraid
still would have been fired even if they
whatsoever
did make
of
that
this
kick.
hire. He's 63 years old. I don't see what type of you want to talk about him changing the culture? What culture is he going to change?
I'm
Look
just
at
saying.
Ravens culture right now.
It's actually
You're
damn
telling
good.
me this is a culture hire? Good luck. You're picking top 5 for the next 3 seasons. This does nothing.
Okay, receipts.
This is Giants
Receipts.
culture. This is who you are, Mike McCarthy plus.
Mike
Well,
McCarthy
I
won,
mean,
like,
the thought
12
is you're
games
hoping to
this year?
see like what Sean
He
Payton
did win a
or
whole bunch
Andy
of
Reid
games, but he never got
Did
it
you
done.
have like multiple winning seasons with
We
Mike
had 3
McCarthy?
12-5 seasons. We
Yeah.
did have 3 12-5 seasons.
I think I think it's a good hire for the Giants. I don't know if it's like a unanimous slam dunk hire, and there's some valid points in there of underachieving with some insane talent with Lamar and Derrick Henry. I agree with all of that, but in terms of I think what the Giants need at this juncture, like John Harbaugh makes a lot of sense. He's bringing in Todd Monken. I like that fit with Jaxson Dart as well, and I think Adams' comp of Dart and Lamar in terms of how they're playing early in their career right now, that makes sense too. Jaxson Dart, 487 rushing yards, I think, 9 rushing
Yeah, he's
touchdowns
good for
last season. Like, he ran a lot. Now, I think one thing Dart can learn from Lamar Jackson is how to avoid contact at the end of some of those runs. And even as Lamar was very good at that, he still had some injury issues, not usually from running either, by the way. But I think like the Ravens this season was really a bad season for them in terms of underachieving. And I think it's easy to look at that season and go, John Harbaugh was bad. He needed to go. Everything there sucked. But overall, the overall body of work with John Harbaugh is very good. And you start nitpicking
Is it though?
Harbaugh and the Ravens losing in the playoffs, and that is big. Like they blew it against the Chiefs. They fumbled the game away against the Bills. Now, that Bills game, are you like, you know what? Mark Andrews not holding on to that ball? That was John Harbaugh's fault.
It was.
John Harbaugh was like, you know what, Mark, go ahead and don't catch this pass, and we'll see if we can still pull it off.
You're
I don't
speaking
think
of
that's how it
body of
works.
work.
Also, the Giants have been terrible. So if Harbaugh gets them into the postseason in 2 to 3 years and they get their asses kicked, they will happily take that scenario and then really complain about Harbaugh as a choke artist in the postseason 4 and 5 years from now.
Yeah, I mean it's frustrating watching your team be eliminated before in mid-October.
Yeah.
So,
Dude, last year I was so happy to have the Buffalo Bills just beat the pants off the Broncos in the playoffs. I'm like, hey, We got back here.
Yeah,
Coming off
they're
like a 5-win season. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Listen,
once you get
my only
back,
thing
it's
is,
different,
if
though.
we're talking about body of work and we limit that to just the body of work with Lamar Jackson, with the comps that the Giants have, I would say it has been an unsuccessful tenure. You have to go outside
It
of
was
that
every
story.
Cowboys coach for the last 35 years then.
35
Or 30 years, right?
Not winning.
Not
Yeah,
winning
sure.
the Super Bowl is one metric.
Not winning the Super
Harbaugh
Bowl
does
is
have a
the
Super Bowl.
only metric that counts.
Harbaugh got a Super Bowl.
So then Harbaugh got one.
Flacco,
And
which
if
is
you
maybe
look, but if we're limiting that to
craziest
the
thing.
player that the Giants have, that we're comping to Lamar Jackson,
He won it with Joe Flacco, though.
yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
I would say
he did not
literal
win it
statue.
with the mobile
Jaxson
quarterback
Dart is
who the
somewhere between
Giants have.
Flacco and Lamar.
I think that in terms of what
Oh, he is
Harbaugh
white.
brings, what you're excited about is like a couple things. So one, when you had Bisciotti, who was out there, I don't know if you guys saw that
Yeah, I
entire
did
press
see
conference now, right? First of all, Harbaugh, as soon as he got fired, he was the belle of the ball, right? Like
The
he was
belle.
like, oh, now everyone wants to go and try and get Harbaugh. So he had his pick of whatever team he wanted to go to, right? So like he could have gone to the Falcons, he could have gone to the Dolphins, what have you. And I think him picking the Giants as a 62, 63-year-old man,
63.
this might be one of his final coaching tenures, right? And
Yeah.
I don't think that he wants to go out, with a losing squad. So I think him having some faith in the Giants would give me a little optimism if I was a fan of the Giants. On top of that, similar, they will get it better just getting healthier, like actually getting Skattebo back and getting Nabers back. Like that offense is going to be better. I think what he brings is just consistency there because the Giants haven't had consistency in that position for a while, right?
Or
Like, they had-
experience. Or a guy that actually has put. Also, Tom, though, $20 million. I would probably.
No, it's a lot of
there's
money,
A
man.
lot
Like-
of things I would do for $20 million. I'd be
It's
like, whoa,
a
dude.
lot of money.
All
I think
right.
it's just you
Not in
now
New York,
have.
though.
We're talking about Mike McCarthy potentially going to the Titans, right? The Titans are a franchise that could use that foundation.
Yeah,
that
they
whether
could.
or not Mike McCarthy is going to be there in 5 years is kind of irrelevant. It's more of can they build a foundation that now whoever comes in next could actually build upon. And even when he was with the Cowboys, they had multiple 12-win seasons. So I do think that Harbaugh is at least going to provide that foundation. I don't know. I think it's a good hire for what the Giants need because now they're finally going to get some consistency. And now you see if those young players can blossom into really good NFL
My big
football
question
teams.
also is who's the DC is going to be because the
Sure.
Giants
If-
really
if-
they're
if-
going. Go
If it's
ahead.
Zach Orr, run for the hills, dude.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to bring in Zach Orr.
No,
But
but
you never know. I mean, Harbaugh defended Zach Orr for a long time. Like that was a lot of his issue in Baltimore too. He kept stubborn with a lot of key issues. Like Zach Orr was a terrible defensive coordinator. They gave up some of the most passing yards in the NFL. He kept with Daniel Fa'alele, even though he was absolutely
Fa'alele's
terrible.
bad.
He was getting mogged by the likes of Brandon Eccles, which is saying something. And unless he gets rid of that, I mean, there's going to be a lot of frustration there. I mean, I'm not saying this to be a hater. I'm saying this because I had a front row seat to watching John Harbaugh and his shortcomings in Baltimore. I think he will raise the Giants' floor, but I don't know if it's going to be by a whole lot of much. That's the problem. He might get you like 6 or 7 wins, but that's it.
I don't want to be in a scenario where I'm like, man, Stefanski could have because what Stefanski did in Cleveland is just unprecedented and unheard of. He got Cleveland to a playoff win. So if he could have done that, I mean, Harbaugh has always had talent in Baltimore, always. And that's why I thought, initially when it was Stefanski versus Harbaugh, like on paper, I think Stefanski to me has a little bit of edge, even though he hasn't won a Super Bowl. Stefanski's going to make a team really happy because he's proven he can succeed in any environment. An
He's going
absolute
to Titans,
dolt as an
Well,
owner.
the worst environment. He can
Yes.
succeed. Well, maybe the Jets, but the second worst.
Bisciotti was even saying that. He's just like, if I wind up hiring a coach who has a losing record, like you can't, like all of you in this room are going to give me crap. But like sometimes you have really good coaches go into some really bad positions with some really bad teams and just grind their teeth. I do think like Stefanski would be a nice fit, like for a Cardinals squad or a Titans squad. you know, and
or
again,
even
like,
Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore's an appealing job. You have a
Very much
two-time
so.
MVP
Oh,
under center,
Honestly,
and Derrick Henry, with maybe 1 or 2 good years. Baltimore is an attractive job.
You know,
I think Jesse
I would
Minter
love
goes
to see
there.
a
He has
Mike
a connection with
McCarthy.
Jim.
Minter looks good.
at
Yes.
Baltimore. If Mike McCarthy got into Baltimore, I think we would be seeing the most insane play calls. Plus, that also limits him from joining the Eagles. There were some reports that the New York Giants were looking at Jim Leonard for their defensive coordinator,
Yeah.
the
That would be
same person who the Cowboys have on their short list right now for DC. Brandon, can you shed any light on Jim Leonard? Would this be a good hire for either of our teams?
No, this would be a terrible hire. I don't think anybody should offer him a job at all. And we'll just keep him in Denver to replace Vance Joseph when Vance Joseph gets a head coaching job.
Ooh, do you think Vance
that is-
Joseph?
Yeah, Jim
gets a
Leonard
head
sucks. I would not
coaching-
even. I would cancel the interview. Cancel it.
The Packers tried to hire him as their defensive coordinator before Halfley.
Yeah. No, I think he's another hot. Like the Broncos are in a weird cycle of like all of the coordinators and position coaches, like they're getting a lot of looks. It's Leonard, it's Vance Joseph, and it's Davis Webb, our quarterbacks coach. That's 3
Yeah,
guys
He's gone.
that Denver, is probably going to have to replace. So yeah, I'm sure Jim Leonard would be great. Sure,
Do
that would
these
be-
guys have like PR teams like that hype them up to the media? What do they do that's so much better? That's making them so attractive.
Everyone
They
wants
win,
a-
because they are
everyone
winning
wants a
teams.
winner.
Winning teams.
Everyone
We're a
loves
one
winners.
seed. That's what. We're a 1 seed.
So before we preview some of these
We're a
playoff
1
games in
seed
the
with
divisional
Bo
round,
Nix. And
let's
not everybody
rank-
thinks he's great. I do. I love you, Bo. You're
yeah,
great.
he has
Bo.
done wonders with Bo Nix. Let's rank the openings
I would
of
love
head
Kubiak
coaching
going
positions. What is the most desirable position available right now? We can start at the bottom if
The
you'd like.
Browns.
And I wouldn't say it's the Browns. I would actually say it's the Dolphins. Can we get a
Ooh,
consensus
yeah.
on this?
You think the
Real quick,
Dolphins is the
Dolphins do
most
have money.
desirable?
Kubiak?
No.
No,
The
worse.
least.
Let's go bottom up.
Kubiak's
Dolphins is a terrible position because Ross not going to give you any support, and Tua's cooked. And so you're looking for a QB and basically a whole new roster overhaul. The only appealing thing about the Dolphins is hopefully they give you 2 or 3 years to fix it, but I doubt that. I doubt
Him or
that.
Minter. Minter's name's been coming up a lot for Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, you already have the connection with John Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh, and you already have like that sort of connection there. And he did a tremendous job with that.
He did.
Also, the Cardinals is a bad job.
Yeah,
I would say
bad
so.
opening.
I'd go Browns, Cardinals, then Dolphins. I'd say the
Honestly,
Browns is the worst.
you guys are missing a big one. The Titans. I think they are a terrible.
Yeah, but at least
Yeah,
they
but
have
Cam Ward, though.
Well, you have
They
Cam
have-
Yeah,
Ward, but the
Cam
problem
Ward.
is your ownership is completely inept, and you've been through a wave of instability.
So is
in terms of your
Arizona,
thinking.
so is Cleveland, but at
Yeah,
least
but
they got
here-
a quarterback there. In
You're also
Tennessee.
moving right. You're moving into a new stadium. They're gonna max that cap, get you all the best players because they want to win in that new stadium right away. Like I think Tennessee's a good. Like on paper, yes, it's probably a bad job, but the way that they're going to put effort into winning in the next couple of years is probably a good job.
We'll see, but
What
be
do we
careful
think
because the
about
Titans had a
Baltimore?
lot of cap space 2 years ago, but then it blew up in their face.
They spent a lot of money on that the Steelers offensive lineman.
Yep, Dan Moore, $50 million guaranteed. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
have fun with that.
Dude,
Have
and their
fun.
offensive line was like
It's atrocious. One of the worst
They had
in
a
the
run
league.
game for like 3 weeks.
Yep.
Where are we ranking the Ravens on this list? Is this a desirable job or a
I think it
non-desirable
can be
job?
a desirable job. You have ownership that's willing to pay for the pocket. I think you have a passionate fan base. You have an all-pro quarterback who will probably get healthy. You could keep Derrick Henry. You do have weapons, Zay Flowers. You do have you have a question with Tyler Linderbaum at center, so you may have to overhaul that. Defensively, you need some work. You don't have much of an edge rushing crew. Roquan Smith did not accrue a fumble, an interception, or a sack this year. Your corners have a lot of issues. Your game changer there's Cal Hamilton. But I think the thing is you do need sort of like an enema or like a sort of just exorcism of old demons. And I think
How
it
did we
is
forget about the Jets being an awful opening.
They'll
a
just change the
terrible
Madden
opening.
ratings. They're
What's
good.
up, America? By the way,
Would
the
you
Jets are
rather
a
be the head
terrible
coach
opening.
of the Jets or the head coach of the Dolphins if you had to choose one?
Dolphins.
Oh, at least I don't pay income tax.
Oh wait, the Jets don't have an opening. What am I talking about? Aaron
Yeah,
Glenn
Jets
is
don't have
still.
an
It just
opening. They got
feels
Aaron
like
Glenn
there-
still.
it
I mean,
feels
honestly,
like
the Jets should
there
have
is
an
an
opening,
opening.
though.
And they'll
Yeah,
probably
it feels
fire
like-
him next year.
I'm like,
you
wait
know?
a minute. Why am I forgetting the Jets? Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, this is your highlight right here, man. This is your main perk of being in New
Maybe
York.
the Raiders.
Fancy dancing moves, baby.
The Raiders are like a pretty bad opening too, but they're getting the Mendoza, so that's like that puts them to the top, I think.
Yeah.
Is, Mendoza.
See, Ron.
Okay, so still some speculation out
Oh.
there, but let's.
What's
go ahead,
real
Tom.
quick? Who was and apologies because I'm just not following a ton of college football because I'm not at draft point yet. Who was the quarterback who just said that he's going back to school?
Dante
So
Moore.
that's the
Dante Moore.
Oregon quarterback.
Yeah, so that's real interesting, right? Because the Raiders, 99.9%, they're probably going to go and get Mendoza, right? Most likely that they're going to. I mean, they need an offensive line, they need a lot of help, but if they like Mendoza, they're going to go get him. I think it's going to be really interesting, like these top 5 teams, you know, who they're going to go after, because like the Cardinals are sitting there at number 3. Are they? I don't think they're going to spend that on a quarterback, even though they need a quarterback but I don't know who's taking that Kyler Murray contract, just like I don't know who's taking that Tua contract. It's going to get real interesting on those top 5 picks.
Yeah,
And
and
this-
the Giants beating the Raiders really screwed them because Moore not coming out, there would have been a bidding war for that
Yep.
number 1
Exactly.
overall pick.
Exactly.
That was a
If
big
you lost to the
sliding doors
Cowboys-
moment.
Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have the 12th and 20th overall pick. Did you think this pick would be this low, Tom? Don't lie.
When we had Micah Parsons, no.
Okay, that's
But then after the Denver game completely like lowered my expectations of how this team could potentially go further. It was going to have to be through the offense. I mean, just the defense started playing worse. But then after Denver, I mean, you lost Parsons. Zach Tom didn't play another freaking down. You know, it's that's tough, man.
It's hard when
That
you
is
play the
tough. That
Broncos.
is very
This is the
tough.
last time
That's
that
all I
happened.
This
know.
actually,
In
I want to
August.
get your guys' opinion on this, the quarterback going back, because this kind of speaks to a larger issue of NIL funding. Some people said it was really pointless for this quarterback to go back to school knowing that you would get picked number 2 minimum, and then you could get to the second contract quicker. But I think this is a larger issue. He is getting a bag to go back to Oregon. What are your guys' thoughts on players going back just for a bag in college to play one more year, especially knowing they could have gone super high, top 5 in the draft?
To avoid the Jets? I don't
Yeah, I
think
mean,
there's
you're
enough.
Yeah, I mean, Jets and Browns. I would do.
$30.
Yeah, he's going to get ruined. But the thing is, too, like the old
Free
appeal
lunches?
of
All right.
people declaring early for the draft was always that they weren't getting paid in college. They wanted a quick payday, especially
Correct.
if you're first overall. You don't have that anymore. Now you have guys where you have a lot of different money. It's become the Wild West in college. You have private equity coming in. You have investors like, for example,
high.
BYU had the Crumble guy throw money to keep their head coach around. You have a lot of money being thrown around willy-nilly, like 8-digit or 8-figure NIL like budgets. You have a lot of things happening there. So I think the thing is, this is going to become more common. And
Yeah,
I
they
think
don't have to just-
It's all coming upstream because nowadays nobody's really developing in college. Now with the NIL, they're just looking for playing time and money. So
They don't have to disclose how much they make.
No,
right?
I mean,
That's
it comes
private.
out like
So they could be
randomly, but
making
like,
$10 million.
oh yeah,
to be
Dante
back
Moore's
in
probably making
college.
$10 million.
Who would to have $10 million while walking around Oregon's campus? Like you're a big man on
But you gotta
campus, and then you
think,
go to
right, so many
freaking New
umbrellas.
Jersey
As a
and live in a
quarterback,
one
the
bedroom.
goal
You're
is
6
to
years
go
seven.
make it as a
There were your
quarterback.
nine.
The goal
At the
is to
same
make
time,
it
we
to
were
the
just
second contract. You're trying to make it to the second contract as fast as possible.
There's no
if you're a
guarantee of
quarterback.
that. There's no guarantee of that.
Yeah.
That is true.
The
Take the
Jets
money.
don't have cheerleaders.
I
Oregon
think
does.
there probably needs to be some serious regulation of it in terms of how it's distributed. But I think for athletes to be able to, because they can't choose where they go, they can't choose where they're drafted, and there are teams that you, as a player, you do not want to be drafted to. And I think Devontae Adams kind of hinted about how bad things are for the Jets this week when their pregame interview that they aired before the playoff game. Like Devontae Adams is talking about telling the other guys in the locker room. He's been at a few places.
Yeah.
And
The Raiders.
His advice is to never leave the Rams. Like, that's a place he's like, don't
the
leave
grass
here.
ain't greener.
Here's the thing. He had to learn that by moving from Green Bay to the Raiders. He
don't go
wanted to
play
play
with
with
your
his
friends.
college buddy Derek Carr, and he got
Yeah.
Josh McSnake oil.
Don't
Like,
go
he
to the
knows what it's
Jets.
like.
So
Yeah.
like if these college students who are at the top of their game collegiately can buy a year by, you know, getting paid and have maybe a better chance to not land in an organization they don't want to be with, like, I think they deserve that choice.
But
But
then
it is
you
the
also
Wild West,
run
and
into the
there's-
risk of injury. And so then there's the whole other
The risk is
counterpoint.
you're getting paid.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah,
paid.
yeah. Remember
that's
that player from Miami? He was going to be a number 1 overall pick, or not an
Sean
overall pick, but
Thomas.
he was going to be a highly drafted wide receiver. Blew out his knee in the Cotton Bowl, and then he never played in the pros.
So
It
there
sucks.
definitely is risk versus reward.
But it's also like, this is talking to collegiate athletes, like, and then who have turned into NFL players. Like, there was such a push back before NIL money, like, to just go, as soon as you are eligible,
Yes.
go, because they're not making anything.
No,
Right?
I
Like, we
remember-
still had, sorry, Gentry.
Remember Terrell Pryor back in the day? He
Oh my
sold
gosh.
like a couple $1,000s for some like tattoos and merchandise, and it ended up getting blamed from football. He got his coach fired, and it just turned into just a madness. They were always paying people under the table, but now it's public, and guess what? Bidding wars. Sorry, I didn't mean to
there's,
bother.
you want to talk about guaranteed money. I mean, look at how many of these players who are also first rounders go into the NFL, and that's the only major contract that they get, right? Like, if you're in the first round, you're going to have your first contract like completely guaranteed, right? But after that, there are less and less guarantees. And so if you can go back to school and make a whole bunch of money and have generational wealth created for your family, man, what 19, 20-year-old is going to turn that down? You know what I mean?
That's where,
And not just that, what if you got injured in college during the time? Marcus Lattimore, big example, first round pick. His career was ruined. He just bounced around maybe for a year or two, didn't do anything. Willis McGahee, there was a huge thing about him 20 years ago. Frank Gore. I mean, they ended up having solid careers, made a lot of money, but there's still that fear in college too. You can get hurt.
And just from a football perspective, for quarterbacks specifically, I think playing longer as a quarterback in college right now is really beneficial. I think the quarterbacks you see struggle the most are the ones who played like the least in college, and they're getting drafted based on their talent projection.
Like Jaxson
I think
Dart.
Dart played a good amount at Ole Miss.
He played like a
Anthony
year,
Richardson,
but
though, did not play a lot in
No.
college. Bo Nix played a ton, and that was viewed as a knock
played
on
8
him,
years.
right?
Well, I think the
Drake
problem
May-
is, like we've already seen a lot. There was a lot of issues with him at Auburn. I think that was a lot of things holding him back too. But but the problem
But he
is with
switched
playing more, you
Oregon.
kind of reach your ceiling. That's the thing.
I think reps are good. I think it's good for the quarterback in terms of how they'll be able to develop once they get to the NFL. Other positions, I think it's a little bit different, but quarterback, like you want the guy under center. Well, not, I mean, they rarely go under center in college, but you know what I mean. Taking
it's through the
snaps,
cloud.
getting reps, throwing the ball, doing that stuff.
I think
It's
the thing
interesting
too is
because it used to be the other way. It used to be you want them
used to let them
fresh,
sit.
young, and then come and develop under you. But
Yep.
we've seen the development the NFL has with quarterbacks and how it has been.
You can't
sort of
afford that with the
non-existent.
first year contract. You can't afford it anymore.
But let's switch over now. Let's switch gears and let's go to divisional round predictions. We do have one clickbait member standing,
The last man.
and
Yeah. No,
why
that's
don't
the
we
hate
just
watch.
start
I am
there?
Tim Allen. I'm the
in
last
the
man
divisional
standing.
round? You are taking on the Bills. What is your confidence level? Are you scared? Let the people know where you're at, Brandon Perna.
Scared? You think I'm scared, Scooter? We are going to punch Josh Allen right in the mouth and the wiener as well. Dramatic music. Look, these were my picks from last week. It didn't save the one that we worked on together. I thought the Jags would beat Buffalo.
like everybody else did.
I'd rather play the Bills than the Jags at some point. So this, I think, works out.
Save you from the Texans.
Yeah. Well, Denver played the Texans. We beat them once. So I'm not like, and I know
they also didn't have CJ Stroud for most.
Yeah, because we took him out of the game with our physical dominance. We dominated him physically, Tree. We beat his ass.
Dominant physically. I mean, a little black to the helmet, not too bad.
Yeah, he's going to be scared. He's going to be scared if we get them.
He did not look good in that first 3 quarters.
So you're telling me you believe in your heart that the Denver Broncos will be playing to go to the Super Bowl after next week?
Yes. Also, I don't know. Look, do I want to play Josh Allen in the playoffs? No. Because unlike you, Scooter, I recognize he is an elite quarterback. The best quarterback of our generation. Better than Patrick Mahomes.
Retired?
Way better
Yes.
than Mahomes.
Yes.
What position they were in?
Look, I said this.
They're
I
equal.
said this before the show. I think that the Bills are the best matchup out of the remaining teams for the Broncos, other than maybe the Patriots. But I think the Bills are just so banged up, and the Broncos defense is very good. And they're gonna harass and make Josh Allen's life very uncomfortable back there. And I think this is a great matchup for the Broncos.
Guess what
honestly.
we don't have? A run game.
Yeah, they don't have a run game.
The
man.
real question mark is Bo Nix. Like, is he
Jaguars
going
had
to
a better
do any
scoring
dumb
offense than
things?
the Broncos
The
do.
Broncos have been the Bears of the AFC. They somehow pull things out of their buttholes and they make things happen. So I think that they pull another another win out of their butthole and take this one home. But I'm not going to be upset if the Bills win because I'm going to laugh at you, Perna. But this is I like this matchup for the Broncos.
Here's the thing. This is the stat that I was saving for the show, by the way.
WPA.
Bo Nix is 1-8 versus winning teams that score more than 17 points.
He's the
So
one
do
the
Broncos
we
just
think-
give up 16.
Do we think the Buffalo Bills will score more than 17 points in this game?
Bo Nix has lost a lot of games against teams that scored a lot of points. Okay.
Is that one win the freaking Packers?
And that is the Packers. Yes.
Ah,
I was like, I'm pretty sure we scored more than 17 in that game.
I'd say that's a bit of a cherry-picked sort of stat. I mean, he scored a lot of points against the Cowboys.
Against winning teams.
Yeah, I know that.
Scooter's like, don't be
more than
mistaken. Why didn't you say we were a winning team?
Yeah. Look, here's the thing about the Bills that I don't know and I don't understand about them. I don't think anybody believes this is the best version of the Bills that's been in the postseason so far.
no.
But we have seen them win games. All right. They did split the series with the Patriots, right? Like the Texans worked them, the Falcons worked them, but they have been a team that figures out ways to win. The Broncos are similar. The Broncos figure out ways to win, and
I said it.
It is ugly. It is ugly. Josh Allen is rare because he is one of the quarterbacks who performs very well when kept clean, and he performs very well when under pressure. I think he's the highest rated in both of those situations. The only way you actually stop you can't pressure Josh Allen. You have to sack him, and you have to sack him, and you have to sack him. And Denver has been very good at sacking quarterbacks all season long. So I'm hoping that trend continues. Their defense has been very good. Dre Greenlaw is going to play. That's huge for the Broncos linebacking unit. But I don't know. This game to me it's a coin toss. It's a coin toss in so many areas. And yes, the Bills' run defense has been their big flaw. But the Broncos, like since we lost J.K. Dobbins, our run game has been wildly inconsistent. And even if the run game was working, do I think Sean Payton would continue to run the football? No, I do not. I do not think that for a second. I think he would try to one-up Liam Cohen and go, oh, We ran for 200 yards in the first half, and then we did the second half without throwing the ball once at all, Liam. I'm the greater offensive mind. I figured it out.
Pay attention to this 5 because this is Harbaugh too.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going to
No,
happen.
the stubbornness
I
is,
don't.
is
So-
alarming.
Let's take a vote. Who do we think is winning this game? Who do you have winning
Broncos.
this game? What's the score going to be?
Broncos 20-17 on some BS late.
That's the exact score I was just going to say. 2017.
I think Josh Allen is going to Josh Allen all over the field. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But my scaring thing about the Broncos is not Nix. It's actually Sean Payton, as you had mentioned earlier. I think, as I said, like he's going to get really cute with the drive and just derail them. That's my worry.
So who are you taking?
I think the Bills. Last second field goal by Prater.
I'm also
find
going the Buffalo Bills. Let's go Buffalo.
now I might want to take
Ooh,
Broncos.
tiebreaker.
to 20.
On paper, so this one was a tough one. On paper, the Broncos are a better football team, but also like they were able to win against the number 1 rated run defense last week in Jacksonville.
Yep.
And like that goes, okay. And the Jaguars scoring offense is better than the Broncos. And so I honestly, if they're able to force Bo Nix to throw some interceptions, just like they did Trevor Lawrence, I think the Bills can come away with this. It's just, you don't know. The thing that concerns me, of course, if you're the Bills, is that defense. You know,
Yeah,
they're
the
going
run
up against the
defense.
second best run defense in the league. So, you know, I don't know how effective James Cook is actually going to be in that ball game.
What
I
is
am
your
just going to go with
final
the
vote?
experience of Josh Allen over the experience of Bo Nix.
Wow.
Final vote.
GPS
I'll go
betrayal.
Bills.
You've seen it on Clickbait here,
Wow.
ladies and gentlemen. Let's move the Bills forward on that. Who else do we have
That hurts.
playing in the
49ers
AFC?
Seahawks that night. I think this is the game that, like, man,
Oh,
that would
that's
be,
gonna so
one
good.
hell of a
Natural hater, Johnny
freaking
boy.
win
What
if the
can I say?
49ers pull this off,
Sorry.
but it's going to be tough without Kittle.
Love you.
I think the 49ers should have lost to the Eagles, but the Eagles, like I've been saying all year, are fraudulent. Kevin Patullo might have been the worst offensive coordinator in the league this year.
And he only got
somehow-
promoted.
A.J. Brown played the worst game of the season.
He's running himself out of Philly.
Yeah.
So the
sweet
49ers shouldn't even
justice.
be here right now.
Well, tough.
I do not think they're going to win that game.
I think the problem is like the Seahawks defense. I think they crushed them in week 17 unless they find a way to break that, especially without George Kittle, who has a torn Achilles. I don't know if they find an answer. I mean, maybe Sam Darnold's out or maybe he's banged up,
No,
but
they said he's going to play. I mean, it's
Yeah, that's what I
the risk of him playing is not playing is very, very low.
that's what I figured. But at the same time, you have to consider like, unless they find a way to break Seattle's defense, I don't see a way for them.
Yeah.
And it was a great season, all things considered. But I mean, does Fred Warner play? Because they say he's really close.
No,
next
I
week-
think Kyle Shanahan should be given. If you included the playoffs into Coach of the Year, Kyle Shanahan, the job that he's done with this banged up Niners team, I think they've just lost too many parts. Like it's one thing to lose a player
He's
in
out.
game
Okay.
and adjust and have someone step in the role. It's now really different with Kittle out and all these parts just missing. I think I like Seattle in this game.
We're going to have to speed up our picks here. We're a little bit over time.
Yeah.
So let's
Having
move
Trent
the
Williams
Seahawks on. And then the final two games, Patriots, Texans, Bears, Rams. Who do you guys have? Real quick.
I think Texans take the one against the Patriots. Their defense was a unstoppable swarm. They suffocated the Steelers. And I know they've had this issue against elite defenses, but they are a legitimate unit. Like that is a defense. That
It's
is
a
the
Super Bowl
defense
caliber
Mitchell
defense.
pretends they have. Like it's just they destroy people. Their front edge still got anywhere. They tried to get the ball out quick. That didn't work. Their corners are shut down. Their linebackers are solid. I mean, that defense, if CJ Stroud stops with the mistakes, they're going to the dance.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
So you like the Texans. Is that
Yes.
consensus? Texans?
Yeah,
over
I mean the
Patriots?
Patriots only put up 16 points against the Chargers. If they're going to have negative
Chargers have a
points,
very
the
good
Texans
defense.
are
And Jesse Mentor's a
very
really good coordinator too.
I
Yeah,
like
but I'm
the.
just
I'm going to
saying
say
the Texans
Patriots.
elite.
And I
I
say
want to
that-
go with the Patriots as well. I just think CJ Stroud has been underperforming, and that is the least worst adjective I could use right there. The Texans won in spite of CJ Stroud. And I don't think he's going to fare any better against the Patriots defense.
He got it together in the fourth quarter.
The thing that was really interesting is because people have been mocking the Patriots pass rush all year, but them getting Milton Williams back, like they destroyed Justin Herbert, right?
Well,
Like
they have no O-line. Their O-line are pylons.
The thing is, like, right behind Justin Herbert is Drake May, who got sacked a ton of times this year too. And now going up against this Texans defense, like Drake May had a couple of turnovers as well in that game. Yeah, I'm just going with the stronger defense right now.
The other thing the Texans do that makes any other team jealous, they only rush 4. They only rush floor
because they don't have to rush anymore, man.
They beat people. They run stunts. Like it's pretty to watch.
So it's 3 for the Texans, and then finally our last NFC game. Who do you guys have? Bears. I know Tom is picking the Bears to win this.
This is the game right here.
Dude,
Bears
I would not be surprised at all if the Bears win this super ugly and Stafford's just not great in the cold. He's got like a sprained finger on his throwing hand. I would not. I'm picking the Rams because again, but the Rams, dude, they scare me with how inconsistent they've been.
They play with their food.
Yeah, I don't know. They're the better team on paper, but that doesn't mean diddly squat. I could see them getting a few turnovers. They've been opportunistic all year. It's being played in the cold. The Rams can score on that defense 1 cajillion%. If they could score more than 21-3, they should be able to win that game.
I'm going to be
I'm
honest.
going to take go ahead.
Go ahead, dude.
I'm going to take the Bears by devil magic. Caleb Williams in the fourth quarter is just like, he just does things that you're like, how is this a human being? So Bears by devil magic.
I got the Rams. They're going to run. The Bears will run out of that devil magic. For some reason, it worked on the Packers, and I'm thankful for that. But the luck runs out against the Rams. Matthew Stafford has experience, and he's going to show it in this game. Tree, what are your thoughts?
The bullshit may not be real in Pittsburgh, but the bullshit is absolutely real in Chicago. I am expecting a fourth quarter comeback by Caleb Williams. You can't spell cinema without Iceman, as a wise man said in the NFL comment section on YouTube. That's how we do it, son. Last second field goal by certain Cairo Santos.
Stafford does have a losing record at Soldier Field.
Yeah. I think what should scare the Rams is it's not the cold, because last year in the playoffs they played very well against the Eagles in that snowy cold game. They're the only team that played fairly well against the Eagles. And that was a close game. I think in that game against Philly, though, the thing that won it was Saquon Barkley, right? The Bears at times have looked like they have an unstoppable run game. It has not been as dominant lately, but I think if the Bears win, we're going to be talking about Swift and Monangai as the reason. But I would say I think the Rams are going to win.
Give me too much
credit. So
okay,
I'm going to say the Rams.
It's
only 99 yards against the Packers on the ground.
Divisional round. We're gonna have some good football this weekend. I'm looking forward to it.
Let's see how it plays out as we go to the countdown.
It's going to be cold.
Cold and windy.
Do we even need a countdown now? Y'all know who lost.
Suffer, Tom. Suffer.
It's me. I lost again. It's me. Oh, Packers. Why couldn't you score another field goal or even an extra point? This offseason's gonna suck.
That's beautiful, man.
I got one for Tom.
I got 33.95.
I got 50.98. Thank you.
102.11.
Contribute 102.11. This one is not
906.94.
With no suspense whatsoever.
$500 donation to start ripping on Packers fans. So.
Do you have to get a cheese grater? Do you have to order a cheese grater and wear it?
Yeah.
No, that's too easy. It's too
I would say
easy.
cheese grater hat and then a video praising the Chicago Bears.
I think he has to show up dressed as Caleb Williams Iceman for an episode. I want blue
and paint his nails.
Iceman skin. I want frosty hair, and I want a Caleb Williams Iceman shirt.
Bill Swersky's super fan. That's an interesting one.
Ooh, that is one too. Dressed as Ditka and do Ditka the entire time with the Bears
that'd be a lot of fun. I would do
sweater.
Entire time.
I think that would
you would do well with that.
Okay.
Yes.
I can't believe we haven't
Yes, let's do that.
And
All
painted
right.
Full
nails too with the
episode.
Bears orange.
You do it as Ditka, and that's not a terrible punishment, but also amazing.
But you do have to have painted nails as Ditka. I like that.
Yes,
Orange painted nails. Orange and
Orange
black.
nails.
that is the most striking dichotomy.
Mike
Could you
Ditka.
imagine Mike Ditka walking out with paint? Well, he did wear a dress. He did,
He did.
or he
No,
did that
Ricky
thing
Williams-
for.
wait, one of them did. Who
Yeah,
wore it?
Ricky Williams wore a wedding dress with Mike Ditka. So, all right, next week
Make it happen.
as Ditka with the
Yeah,
sunglasses.
fake
and
mustache.
everything.
Whole
My
night.
DraftKings.
What do you guys have
That's so
coming
funny.
out? On
I
your
have
channels?
a video on the Polo Grounds being much weirder than you remember them being.
A
Part
what?
of my stadium, the Polo Grounds. Remember in New York? Yeah, you don't remember.
No.
It's these always
I was
do
like,
well.
No, I don't.
Mhm. Okay, Mile High is on the list, by the way, of weird stadiums because Mile High was really weird. They had moving stands, like you could
Yeah.
for baseball. It was super weird.
Okay, be on the lookout for that. Perna, what is dropping on your channel?
We'll have a John Harbaugh video up tomorrow about whether or not he can actually save the New York Giants.
Spoiler alert, he cannot. Tree, what is coming out on your channel?
I'm working on a couple right now. First one is on the quarter hacks, mainly quarterbacks who survive and are able to find starting jobs despite, certain like talent limitations. And also the Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver crash out factory. So I'm working on a few of those as well. So they may not be out this week or next week, but I've got a few others I'm cooking too.
I will be looking forward to that. Tom, what is dropping on your channel?
I'm working on 2 videos. I don't think I'm getting either out today, though. It's what's next for the Packers. Kind of talk about the whole LaFleur saga and kind of just where what next season looks like. And I also really want to do an NFC North skit really bad. I'm going to try to get that out tomorrow. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely, definitely.
I just
looking
want to say
forward
one
that.
thing before I leave.
I
I
have
saw
the
something.
NFC East meeting finale
Sorry.
question mark dropping
Question.
tonight. So
They are all
be on
gone.
the lookout for that one. And yes, 5. What were you going to say?
Oh, I just saw this thing that says like the most effective thing to help you to feel better. You know what the most effective thing is? It's not therapy or calling a friend. You know what it is?
Jerking off.
Well,
Do that
close.
research, baby. Do that research. Know the company.
I know the
Spend
answer.
the time.
It is rubbing one out.
Yes, it is rubbing out a fat batch
Practice interview
to
questions.
some alt porn.
I did this.
It's exercising. So everyone go
People
out
build
and
their resumes.
exercise today.
Yes.
Jacking off.
Hey,
is not
you
bad.
can take that. You can turn that into a workout.
Yeah,
were
that
doing
sounds like
so
an
well.
Olympic sport for you, Five.
We were doing so
That's why
well.
Scooter wanted to know how many pull-ups I could do.
Well, there's always going to be shenanigans and madness here, man. You know that.
I'm Tam.
This has been
Forearms are
another
unstoppable.
episode.
Are we